Peace and black power. It's your brother Knowledge Born through Knowledge Radio. Waiting on the man, the myth, the legend. Brooklyn's own. Crime Heights own. Ruste Juxx. Make sure y'all go over and check out our YouTube channel, www. Just waiting for him to come and join the joint.
What up, what up?
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, let's welcome to the platform one of the most versatile MCs on the planet. You understand what I'm saying? You got a round at it in your career.
Word.
Time, Heights, Brooklyn in the building. You understand what I'm saying? Put your hands together. Show your love for Ruste motherfucking Juxx.
What up, what up? What's good, man? What's going on?
I had you know, so I had the chain on. I took it off. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want to suck it in. You know, Brooklyn's still in the house. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt, man.
How you feeling, though, brother? Welcome to the
I'm
show,
great, man. I'm feeling great, man. I'm blessed, man. Word.
Yeah, I seen you had said, you know, I'm gonna get my flowers now. So I was like, let me throw the feelers out there and see if I could get a few minutes with the God. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I want to get your flowers right now. You know,
of course.
long-time supporter, lover of your music. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I heard you so many different variations and song concepts. You know what I'm saying? Over the years, the pin game is ridiculous. True barbarian out here. You understand what
I
I'm
appreciate it, man. Word.
saying? So, you know, we may know the story, but for those who don't know the story, how did you get your shot?
I was doing my thing for a long time, man. You know, since I was a teenager, and you know, putting out singles. Introduce you to Heltah Skeltah. Try to get you on that second. Oh, hold up, your shit was spinning up there.
Right. What's up with it?
Good.
Yeah, it's good now.
All right. Yeah. So no, I was saying I was doing my thing for a minute, and I had a manager at the time who was Rock's cousin, my man Errol, and he wanted to introduce me to Heltah Skeltah. They was working on their second album, so he was like, "Yo, you know," he brought Sean Price around my way, and I met him and shit, and we clicked from there, and you know, he heard me spit and shit, and he loved it, man, and I've been rocking with Duck Down ever since. You know what I mean? I featured on that second album on the title track, Magnum Force, and then the joint called Gangs All Here. And then Duck Down put out a collaboration album called Duck Down Presents. And I had my first single on Duck Down was called Live the Life, you know, featuring Sean P. And, you know, then 2008, years later, 2008, I dropped my first album on Duck Down. Word.
So it's like a 10-year or more time span in between for when we first heard you on the Magnum Force joint, you went crazy on the joint, to your solo project. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the space filler in between those times? Features, you know, like what
in between then, in that time I was still I had two other deals, man, that didn't work out. I was with Select Records, with DR Period. And I was with another label when you know, both those shits didn't work out, and you know, nothing personal, no hard feelings or nothing. I still, you know, was putting out I was featuring on a lot of different joints, and you know, I was still working and shit, man. I had a 9 to 5 and shit. I was doing shit like UPS, fucking security shit. You know what I mean? I was all over the place with it, man. Word.
Yeah. I worked at UPS like 97, and then 20 years later, I was back at UPS. You know what I'm saying? Like after the military, that was some hard work. It's still some hard work, and they still ain't paying shit. Like,
Yeah. Oh man, you ain't never lied. When I was there, that shit was some bullshit. I was out in Jersey and shit, man. Crazy shit.
Yeah.
Word, man.
That's why I'm. You was at what? Sea Caucus?
A week at that time.
I was working at Parsippany. I was trying to get a Sea Caucus. I think there was more. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So how you maintain, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, what was your motivation to keep you, you know, hungry and focused on your craft, you know, with these disappointments, you know, in this, you know, your first couple of years in regards to, you know, the deals and everything that was going on?
Yeah, man, I just knew this is what I was going to do, man. I never took none of those jobs seriously, you know what I mean? I was always like, you know, this is for the time being, and you know what I mean? This is what I was born to do, man. So I just kept on, and shit popped off. Like, you can't lose once you know what I mean? You just determined, you know, this is what you're destined to do, you know what I mean? So, and I knew I was nice, man. So it was just a matter of time, man. And you know what I mean? Thank God for Buckshot. For Sean Price, you know what I mean? Sean took me on tour with him in the States, overseas, and you know, I got my show game even better, you know what I mean? And I learned the business side, and you know what I mean? It was just a blessing, man.
So going into releasing your first project, you know, after all of the features, after everything that was going on, I saw one of the early interviews, and that, you know, you normally get a little something from that first album. Like, that first album was so versatile. You hit so many different angles and levels. So what was kind of like your mindset going into, you know, living up to the title of the joint, Indestructible?
Yeah, man, I was, you know, what I was trying to do, that was my aim, to just be, you know, show everybody my versatility, you know what I mean? I'm an MC's MC. You know what I mean? I was, cause before that I was featuring on a lot of joints, and you know, a lot of the joints was just straight hard body, just street shit. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, I'm gonna show them I could touch any concept, you know what I mean, and get busy, man. You know what I mean? I'm an artist. So, you know, that's what I did, man. And it was like MySpace time. You know what I mean? The internet just started rocking. And so once once Buck was like, yo, you ready to do an album? I was like, hell yeah. So I went on MySpace and I was telling producers, because you know I had a little following from being with Duck Down. So I was telling producers like, yo, send me some beats. Motherfuckers was sending me beats from everywhere, from Slovakia, you know what I mean, all overseas, everywhere. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers was sending me beats. And then I got 2 joints, one joint from PF Cutting, and another joint from my man, 2 joints from PF Cutting, my bad. And another joint from my man Black Milk from Detroit. And you know what I mean, the whole album just came together perfect, man.
Yeah, it definitely, you know, came off the rip really strong. That freshman stance, I was like, man, so many angles, so many concepts, so many ideas. Like, you know, you were speaking to everybody in the room, any cats that couldn't get in the room that was on the outside. So that was definitely a salute. You know what I'm saying? You know, that was a breath of fresh air, because you went through boom bap into snap, into, you know, all of those eras and things that had changed in between that 10-year time span, to come back with a real hip hop album that wasn't one dimensional. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it looked and it felt like boom bap, but it was so much range in it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that kind of way. So how do you follow up with the Exxecution, you know, coming up after that?
Yeah, with the Exxecution, I was like, you know, after the first album, you know, it was a lot of, you know, this was my first project, so I was really into the looking at the comments, and you know, like, it was on different hip hop forums and shit like that, and people were saying shit like, you know, a lot of people was loving the album, of course, but some people were saying, yo, like I wanted that street shit that Ruste Juxx was kicking, you know what I mean? I want them to, you know, they wanted it to be straight hardcore and shit. And I was like, what the fuck? So you know what? When I linked up with Marco hit me up with he wanted me to get on Marco Polo wanted me to get on this project for I forgot which project he was working on at the time, but I did a joint for him, and then he had gave me like a CD with like 8 beats on it, and I murdered all of them shit. When I came through, he was like, yo, we might as well just finish your album. So we did that, and you know what I mean, that one was just like straight hard, like, you know, that's why I titled it the Exxecution. And you know what I mean, we had different joints on there too, certain different concepts, but the main objective was, you know, on some hard body shit, man. And you know, that was to, you know, appease the fans and shit, man. Word.
So did you come back in the same year, even harder, with the Adamantine?
Yeah. Produced by my man Endemic, man. Word. That shit was crazy. That shit came out.
That since DMX. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't seen that in 1 year. DMX, so that was like, you know, that was a different kind of hunger right there.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. I was I forgot how I linked up with Endemic. I think I had did a feature with him too, and then we decided to do an album. And you know what I mean? I was just going in, man. I had a lot of studio access and shit. So I think I was working on that. I think I was finished with that before the Exxecution album, because I was working on both at the same time. And, you know, trying to make sure both of them didn't, you know, they didn't sound the same or nothing like that. And so both of them was two different producers. So the vibes just, you know, just took me different places and shit, man. So the shit came out official, man. Word.
Yeah, it came through. So then we fast forward to 2012. You know what I'm saying? The world ain't in. You know what I'm saying? Like, people bought all that water and batteries and shit for no reason. You know, the Mayan calendar was off. You know what I'm saying? So you got back to work after you figured out the world wasn't going in. Huh? Like,
yeah, everybody was saying it's the last days. You know, all that shit. Yeah, man. I came back with that joint VIC with the Archetype, man. And then yeah, man, and that shit was just crazy, because Archetype, they wanted me to do a joint. It's the same thing again. Like, I did a song for them, and you know, they wanted to drop a single, but they wanted this one to be on you know, so they, you know, for licenses and shit, licensing. And they wanted to put it on, like, you know, commercials and different shit like that. And so we did that joint. I was like, yo, I wanted to go another way with the album. You know, since I was doing all the hardcore shit, I wanted to show them, you know, with their versatility again. So with this album, I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna curse on the whole album, and I ain't want no samples and none of that shit. You know what I mean? So Archetype was just making all his beats from scratch, and I ain't curse on not one joint. And I don't even think the fans really realized that shit. They just knew it was hard, but you know, they ain't even think about it. It was no curses on the whole shit, and everybody that I had featured on there, I told them not to curse, and they was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, word? And, you know what I mean? When they sent me their verses, them shits was crazy. You know what I mean? I had R-Rated Rugged Man, I had Sadat X, my man Skates, Guilty Simpson, Ill Bill, Jason, a whole bunch of artists. You know what I mean? Everybody got busy, man. And you know what I mean? That was some real MCing shit right there.
Yeah. That's a hungry squad right there. You see what I'm saying? No
copyright. There's a lot of dope artists featured on that shit.
On the sidebar, how did you link up with my man from Baltimore, Ill Conscious?
Ill Conscious, I did a man, how the fuck if I know a lot of Baltimore artists and shit. Like, I did a lot of joints with Dirt Platoon and shit. That's my brothers over there. Yeah. But Ill Conscious. Oh, when I was working on the Magma album, I think Tone Spitfire hollered at Ill Conscious to be on that joint. And you know, when I met Ill Conscious, we was talking at a show and shit, and I was like, yo, like, we finally met, and he was like, yo, I met you before, man. You don't remember? And I was like, oh shit. He was like, I wasn't on your radar, you know what I mean, or whatever. So I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize it. But Son is nice, man. Son is nice, man. He came through and bodied the joint. And, you know what I mean? That shit was a breath of fresh air, man. Son is definitely dope, man.
Yeah, that's a good brother right there. You know,
Yeah, man.
Baltimore's own. Shout out to him and Dirt Platoon, man. They some hungry cats, man. They be getting it. I was like, yo, my man in South America ramen. You understand what I'm saying?
Right,
Like, so it was just good.
right.
Good to see that. You know what I'm saying? See that range. So, you know, hard body hip hop. Let's get back to that. I just wanted to ask about that side note in case I forgot. You know what I'm saying? Hard body hip hop.
Yeah, hard body hip hop. That was my man Kaio Itachi. That's my brother right there, man. We Kaio had hit me up like years before when he had a different name. He was a rapper at the time. And I don't think we ever did the collab or nothing, but then he hit me up years later when he was producing and shit, trying to do the album. And you know, the beast was just fucking dope, man. And I was like, hell yeah. So we started working on that. And I was recording in like 2 different studios, my man Simi studio and I forgot the other spot I was recording at, but I was just sending him the joints and we never even met. You know, he was all the way out in France and shit, so we ain't meet until like the album was out and I had shot 2 videos already, you know what I mean? And then he came out and got in 2 videos and shit, and that's my brother for life right there, man. Word.
All right. That was a crazy project, you know. Our body. It lived up to the, you know what I'm saying? When you look back at it, you know, it lived up to it. And again, that was another, you know, kind of experimental time in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Around that time again. So it's like you go back through a whole nother restructuring type situation to where the sound is and, you know, how everything sounds and the feeling and, you know what I mean? So, you know, you used to accustomed to that other kind of stuff, and then to hear this, it's like, it's still hip hop out there. You know?
Yeah, man. Kaio was fucking dope, man. And my man Kaio came out here to America. He come out here and do his thing, man. He got everybody on his album. He come out here when he make his America trip, he makes sure he handle business, man. He went back with a whole lot of dope shit. And
right.
You know what I mean? That was like the birth of my homeboys Bankai fam. Like I grew up with a lot of these brothers. My man Skanks the Rap Martyr and One Click Banging them. You know what I mean? I introduced them to Kaio when he came out because he was doing like some type of video. He wanted, you know, artists on it like he knew they was all dope and shit. And next thing you know, they had a fucking album with Word. They did the whole Bankai album, and Skanks did like 2 albums with him. You know what I mean? So everything worked out, man.
So now I want to backtrack a little bit. You coming in the game and then hopping on a Heltah Skeltah album at its height, you know, at their height. You know what I'm saying? This is premium, duck down. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is going on. It's crazy. You know, you fresh off that La Flor, La Fly, Skeltah, Operation Lockdown. You know what I'm saying? All of these joints you see, right? And then coming in and then hopping on, you know, I think one of Heltah Skeltah's most versatile albums too. They show some serious range on there with the collabs and everybody that's on there. You know what I'm saying? From the east to the west. You know what I mean? Yeah. What was that feeling like for you to, you know, to make the cut, to get on the joint?
Yo, that shit, yo, listen, man, I was a big fan of Boot Camp before that shit. You know what I mean? I had the Buckshot, when Buckshot dropped Into the Stage, I had that shit on a black tape, like a, you know, I had the little TDK shit. I had it on the boot. I downloaded, I recorded it off my man's shit, and I used to run that fucking. Then the Smith and Wesson album dropped, same shit. You know what I mean? The Shining, and so you know what I mean. I was a big fan of this shit from the beginning. So when I was able to work with them, it was like you know, I worked with a lot of artists. You know what I mean? Local artists, and, you know what I mean? Shit around my way in Brooklyn, period. But they was like the first group that I worked with that was official. You know, they had you know, record deal. They was on Priority. You know what I mean? They had Duck Down. They was on Nervous before. So it was dope to finally get in, you know, they was in official studios, you know what I mean? They had shit paid for, like, you know what I mean? I was seeing a whole nother side of the game when I started working with them, you know what I mean? Recording in D&D studio, seeing DJ Premier, Kid Capri and shit. I was like, yo, this shit crazy. You know what I mean? I got my first paid rhyme fucking with Sean P. You know what I mean? I got paid $1,500. I was hype as a motherfucker with that shit. I was like, oh shit.
Right.
That shit, you know what I mean? I was definitely I was happy to be a part of that shit, man. I'm glad I'm a part of that history right
there. Yeah, that's serious right there. You know, it's all love for Sean P forever and his fam. You know what I mean? Like,
what up?
Running that, and I got the same born day. You know what I'm saying? That's literally like my twin sis. You know what I'm saying? She like, you know what I mean? Like, we celebrate our born days this year, the same, you know, on the same joint. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's like, fam. You know,
Burner, big burner. That's my big sis right there, man. For real, for real. Word.
That is love. So throughout this duck down lineage, you know, you came into at a time where we got introduced to OGC and everybody, you know what I'm saying? In that way, you know, it's kind of like we don't really know the intricacies and the layers of that duck down time. So, you know, what was that duck down, you know, greatest moments for you? If you had like some greatest hits, you could point to a couple of times during the duck down, you know, hype for you.
Yo, just touring with brothers. You know what I mean? Just doing shows with them. You know what I mean? In New York, out of state and shit like that. You know what I mean? Just doing shows with them and learning, because I learned from each and every one of them. You know what I mean? Like Tech and Still, how they perform and shit, man. Like I used to watch Tech, how he perform, and he had the mic. He used to put the shit around his, like behind his neck and shit and perform. I was like, oh shit, I started doing that shit too. You know what I mean? So you don't step on the cord and all that. Like it was a whole bunch of shit, and I just learned from them, man. Like when I first started dealing with them, and you know, I came in fucking with Sean, and you know, so you know, I wasn't cool with everybody yet. I was just, you know, Sean knew, man, shit, new homeboy and shit. You know what I mean? With the on the rhyming tip, and I got cool with Still. He was living in Jamaica, in Queens at that time, and I started recording at his crib. He had a studio in the basement and shit. That shit was just fucking incredible to me. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm really going to General Still basement to record some shit. Right. And he produced it, you know what I mean? And that shit went on a Duck Down Collector's Edition. That was the name of the album and shit. I had a joint called Master the Style. That was another joint I got paid for. And Tech jumped on that shit too. So I was like, yo, this niggas think I'm nice, you know what I mean? He jumping on the joint with me and shit. Like that shit, I was hyped as a motherfucker, man. So, you know, just working with them, man, was just was enough, man, for real.
Now, touring internationally, before we get back into, you know, the albums, that stage chemistry that I saw between you and Sean, you know what I'm saying? You and Sean, and you and Rockness. You understand what I'm saying? Like it looked real. You know what I'm saying? Like that. It was crazy. So I need to know, like, you know, a couple of crazy joints, man. You know, either stateside or overseas, or one of each. You know what I'm saying? A couple of joints crazy on tour.
Yo, man, damn, man, I had so many fucking tours with Sean. It was crazy, man. Like, and one thing about touring with Sean, you know, he was like, you know, it wasn't like I was just his hype man. Like, I was hype man for him, but then in the middle of the set, he let me perform like 3-4 joints, and then on top of that, I got like 5-6 collaborations with him. You know what I mean? So I'm performing them joints too. So it was just like, yo, that shit was fucking dope, man. I mean, you know what I mean? That shit showed me everything, man. Like, my fucking stage show was phenomenal after that. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, I'm picking up fans here. And I ain't give a fuck about, you know, it wasn't for a lot of money and shit. I was just, you know what I mean, happy to be there, man. I was flying motherfucking places. You know what I mean? Right. Shit was just incredible, man. You know what I mean? So just rocking out with Sean was a great learning experience. Word.
Okay. So like, if you look back between then and now, you know what I'm saying? Like how much growth took place, and then also like, what's some of your favorite places to go perform? Like, you know, hands down.
Shit. everywhere. I performed fucking all over the U.S., Canada, Europe, and I guess in Europe, I guess like Austria, fucking Poland, France. I always rock out in France, crazy. You know what I mean? And definitely Canada. You know what I mean? A lot of places like Toronto, Vancouver. You know what I mean? A few places like that, man. And Japan. I hit Japan by myself and shit. But yeah, man, just all over, man. Especially overseas shows. They appreciate hip hop way more. You know what I mean? Like they be waiting. You know what I mean? You get out there, you do your shit. Maybe like, yo, we just had Ghostface last week. You know what I mean? Razzcat's coming next month and shit. Like they be preparing for that shit, man. So you know what I mean? That shit be crazy.
Yeah, that's nice. So, you know, back to that first question about you, just you looking at yourself and how you grew. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you turn them obstacles into blessings, and you continue to you know go, grow, and get better. You know, what's some things you learned about yourself along that way?
Yeah. Yo, you know, that's just a part of life. Like just getting older, seeing the world different, and you know what I mean? It's just you know, learning from past albums and shit I should have did or I shouldn't have done. And you know what I mean? Shit just got way better, man. And choosing better beats, better production. You know what I mean? I grew a lot as an artist, man. If you don't grow and you stay on the same mindset, you know what I mean? That shit is just like a waste of time, man. Like I learned I had to really, really hustle in this game, man, to keep my name relevant. And you know what I mean? That's why I stay on so many collaborations right now. You know what I mean? Outside of my projects. You know what I mean? I drop a lot of projects and I feature on a lot of shit. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? It's always a learning experience, man. It's always you know, I'm still a student in the game. Word.
So now coming in the game with Sean, how did you deal with that transition? And, you know, how do you kind of see yourself now, you know, after him returning to the essence, but always being present? You know what I mean? Like, how did you get through that space, man?
Yeah, man, that was definitely, that shit hit me hard as a motherfucker, man. Like, Sean was my big bro for real outside of this rap shit. You know what I mean? This wasn't no hip hop relationship. You know what I mean? That was my big bro. He's my son godfather. And, you know what I mean? I knew him before my first son was born. You know what I'm saying? So I knew him for a long time. I think 96, 97 and shit. You know what I mean? So that shit and it was so unexpected. It wasn't like he was sick and, you know, and then he passed. Like that getting that news that day was just like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? So it was definitely hard, man. And, you know, but we rocking through it. And, you know, Bernadette, she's, I gotta give a super salute to Bernadette, man, because she's one of the strongest women I know for real. Like I've never seen nobody hold it down like that for their husband, you know, in hip hop and shit like she did. And like she really put that Imperious Rex and them albums together like out of nowhere. She don't do this rap business shit. You know what I mean? She'd pop up at shows with Sean, but she did this shit, man. She dealt with all the bullshit early. Like she know about the game. She dealt with all the fucking, you know, motherfuckers holding back material, and you know what I mean. And she had to do what she had to do, and she really holding it down, man. And I really appreciate her for that shit, man. Like, and now she doing her shit with the music too. I ain't gonna say too much of that shit, you know what I mean? But I'm behind her 100% on that shit, man. Word. But you know, I just keep I did my joints like I made when he passed. I did my joint on the second album with Kyle was called Meteorite. I did a joint called Universal Sean, and that was featuring Stuck B, Sean brother Stuck B and Rock. And just recently on my latest album, on James Brown of the Underground, I did a new one called Sean VSOP. And you know, I got other verses on different collaborations where I pay homage to Sean P, man. So you gotta keep
visual
keep his name out there.
The visual crazy. I seen the video. Universal Sean, like, yeah, man, like, like
man.
you gotta hold your hand on your heart watching the joint, you know what I'm saying? And like seeing the fam and seeing everything, like, because a lot of people talk a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying? But just see it, like, and then when it's even greater. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when it's even greater, you're like, oh yeah. You understand? So
yeah. That joint was a fucking tearjerker, man. Them directors, they came from Europe. I think they was from France too. And they just came out here like, yo, they heard I was shooting a video. I was gonna shoot a video and they wanted to direct it for free. I was like, hell yeah, man. And that, that whole shit came together dope. And it was dope because they did the Sean Price mural right around the corner for where I grew up at. You know what I mean? I'm from Kingston between Bergen and St. Mark's. And they put the shit on the corner of Bergen and Kingston. They could have had that shit in Brownsville. You know what I mean? Around where he grew up and shit. That was crazy. That was like, it was meant to be right there. You know what I mean? So that shit is forever. That's some dope shit, man. Salute to my man Miz One who did that, word. Yeah.
Back to the albums we hitting. Ready to Juxx out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ready to Juxx.
Yeah, that's my man VS the Best out of Philly. And yeah, he hit me up and we just put that album together. I recorded a lot of shit out here. Then we knocked out a few joints when I came out there to Philly for a show and shit. And I think we dropped that one on Soul Spasm. That shit came out crazy too, man. I recorded a lot of shit at my man's studio in Brooklyn and shit. And Dirt Platoon on that album too. Word. And yeah, man, that shit was a dope fucking album, man. I had to put the picture on the cover with the red and black lumberjack with the hat to match. Shit, that shit was crazy. Word. When Biggie said that shit, I was like, yo, I could relate to that. I wasn't sipping Valentine, none of that shit. I wasn't old enough, but you know what I mean? Put shit on the cover. Shit was a classic, man. Word.
Oh, man. And then you got like a pause in between projects, like around 2013 to in 2016 you come out with Death by Stereo.
Oh yeah, that was a project that I did with the Beat Bruisers, you know what I mean, and my man Paul's One. And that's their project. And but shit was dope, man. You know what I mean? I was out there touring in Cali and shit. And I was out there and I just knocked out each one of them. I think I recorded some of them shits out here too. But yeah, man, that project came out dope, man. But that's a part of their catalog. And we shot videos for them joints too. And I dropped the album. I forgot how long it was. And I think I dropped 2 albums when I came out again with 2015. I think I dropped 2 albums that year after that.
Okay.
Sure. And that was like a third, you know what I mean? That was a feature project. Wow.
Now in the midst of, the versatility, the content and the concepts that are there, there's also in the background some social conscious, militant stance in there. Where does that come from?
That comes from
that's courageous.
Yeah, that comes from.
You know what I'm saying? They don't go that way. So
yeah, a lot of motherfuckers are scared to say shit. That's that's what it be, man. But that come from being a black man first, man, and not giving a fuck what nobody think. You know what I mean? So, if you either gonna fuck with it or you don't. You know what I mean? A lot of people was trying to stray me away from that shit. Like, yo, don't do that. You got white fans and shit and all this shit. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck, man. Listen, if they ain't rocking, if you ain't rocking with the real, then I don't need you. Like, seriously, man. Like, this is what it is. Like, I gotta talk about what the fuck is going on right now, so people when people look back in history and shit, they gonna know what was going on. You know what I mean? They gonna know how I felt and you know what I mean, my take on the situation. So, you know, it is what it is, man. And I gotta continue doing that shit, man. That's where it's at. I don't talk about killing and all that dumb shit on my music no more. And I'm older right now. I'm 42 years old, man. So I'm not on the block hustling. I ain't robbing. I ain't doing none of that shit. You know what I mean? I'm taking care of my family. And I mean, it is what it is, man. I'm just doing my rap shit, man, and that's what I've been doing for years, man. You know what I mean? So there's no need to talk about the dumb shit, man. We got it's a lot of real shit that we gotta speak about. Word.
That's real. So we get to International Juxx.
Yeah, man. International Juxx was I came up with that concept because I was like, yo, you know what? I'll be doing a whole bunch of features with artists. So I think that'd be dope to do a whole album featuring my fans, rappers. And so, you know, that shit came together crazy. I was hitting them up. I was posting it. I was just posting it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and artists were sending me shit like crazy. Like, everybody was sending me beats. You know, and the shit came. It took me like 2.5 years, but I made sure I put it together because I had to get the right artist, I had to get the right production, and man, that was one of my dopest ideas ever, I think, man. Because I'm working on part 2 right now, but you know, the shit was so dope, man. I got a song with my man Cyrus Malachi from the UK, and then Malika, she's from Lebanon. And the producer, I forget where he's from, somewhere else. Then I had another single with a German cat, and then a Dominican rapper. You know what I mean? The whole album is just crazy, and everybody rhyming in their language. I didn't want nobody, you know. There's a little few of them rhyme in and out with the English and shit, but I wanted them to really go straight in their language. You know what I mean? So everybody would get their shine. You know, they could be like, yo, I'm on Ruste Juxx album on track 13. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the people from there around their way will be feeling that shit and be like, yo, that's crazy. Man, that shit worked out. I did like 3 videos from that.
That's crazy. You know, the collabs and opportunities that you provided over the years is not really something to, you know, downplay. I think that's a major achievement. You see what I'm saying? Like, and most cats, you know, again, they think somebody gonna get them on the album, so they don't, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they don't be trying to do too much unless it's like some fan favorite or somebody popping right now or whoever. So they be trying to collab to get that and push it. But this sincere opportunity as an opportunity to give back to people that are inspired by you, to give them a chance to shine is remarkable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Word, man. Yeah, I wasn't worrying about that shit about somebody outshining me. I wanted you to come with your best and do what you got to do, man. Like, that's making the song better. Because most of the songs, I set it off on the song. Like, so I you know, I set the pace so they know where to go with it. You know what I mean? And you know, I did the first and the hook. So they already know what to do with it. You know what I mean? So it's no, you know, like I got to piece it together later. It's harder doing it like that. And some of the joints, they had set it off already, and then I just put my verse in the slot that they had open. You know what I mean? So either way, it was dope. It was like I'm doing a collab, you know, but putting it on my album. So you know what I mean? Shit came out crazy.
So we at Jake and the Juxx, man, and King of Crime Heights.
Yeah, my man Jake. He I was doing a lot of recording in his studio and shit. You know, I've always been spot to spot, you know, different years and shit. Until I got my own studio now. I've been recording in my crib for like 2 years, 2-3 years now. But yeah, at that time I was working out of his studio doing a lot of shit. And I remember I had got to like 100 joints one time in like 3 months or some shit. He was like, yo. So we was recording in there, and Jake wanted to do an album with me too. And I was like, hell yeah, we worked that out like in exchange for studio time. Like, so I would go in there and do features, you know what I mean, for collabs I got paid for, and he gave me the studio time. And Jake is a dope producer too, man. And that fucking album is dope, man. Like, that shit is fucking dope, man. I'm mad that we didn't get to do, that's one of the albums that I didn't get to do a lot of videos for. But, you know, it's never too late. I could still do them shits and put them out, you know what I mean? So, you know, the album is out there. So, yeah, man, that album was fucking dope.
So I want to skip to this new joint, man, because this new joint is something for my soul. You understand what I'm saying? This new joint, man, like, you know, again, akin to, you know, the work ethic. You know what I'm saying? They said James Brown was the hardest working man in show business. You understand what I'm saying? So I can relate on this side. You understand what I'm saying? So I can relate on this side in regards to media, things like that. You know, closing in on 2,000 shows. You know what I'm saying? So I know that the work ethic is there. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, looking at your career and hard you work and you know, the grind don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I seen a video last you know what I'm saying? I seen a video last week. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, so can we talk about this project? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like your mind frame going into this project right here, I think it's real special. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, because Amadeus 360, the Beat King, he's a producer out of, I heard about him from doing a joint. He had a joint with MOP. And I did 2 joints with MOP. And he hit me up, you know, like, yo, what's up with the, you know, doing some joints and shit. And when I seen what he did, I was like, yo, he's dope, man. So we started knocking out songs and shit. And I didn't have the concept yet. But then I think I got the concept, I mean, in the title of the album, like late in the album and shit, man. I was just putting it together. And we, you know, one of my favorite groups is Gang Starr. So I love the, that's why I do my albums like one producer, one MC, you know what I mean? So when we was doing this and he started doing like all the, you know, cuts on the hooks and shit on the majority of the joints, you know what I mean? So it would have the hook on it already. And I just ride the verse right into the hook, like boom, you know what I mean? Whatever he's saying and shit, and it's just coming out stupid. And so then we got to that one joint, and I titled it James Brown of the Underground. I was like, yo, that's the name of the album, because I think a fan said that shit to me one time on I forgot who said it, the Instagram or Facebook on my fan page, and I was like, hell yeah, and I just ran with that name. You know what I mean? So I think that shit was the perfect title, man.
Right. Perfect lifestyle too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Perfect lifestyle. I love that project, man. The project is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that shit is hip hop, man. That's hip hop for your ass. Word.
And you had dropped a joint earlier in the year, I think like it was around January or something.
Yeah. Acid. Hell yeah, man. That was the joint produced by my man Z a lot from out of France. He's another dope ass producer, man. And we was working on that joint for like 2 years, like, cause I had a joint, I had 2 singles out, one called 24/7 and another one called Bang Your Head. And we had shot them videos. We've been put them shits out. And then we just kept working on the album. And I was performing them songs everywhere. I was performing that shit, you know, the last 2 years. And then we finally put the album together. And everybody that featured on that album got busy, man. I got Terminology. I got the OG Bumpy Knuckles on there, Freddie Fox. I got my man Skanks the Rap Martyr. We got Conway on that joint. Who else, man? Block McCloud. You know what I mean? The whole fucking album was just fucking dope. Oh, I got my man Rim the Villain on there. And you know what I mean? That's his sound was real dark, man. Like that's a real dark album. You know what I mean? So that's Sulfuric Acid. That title really fits that shit too, man. So, you know what I mean? I'm really proud of that project.
All right, so let's get to these last 2 real quick. Magma and Culturally Rich.
Yeah. Magma, that's produced. Yeah, so that was like, it's like 4 albums I dropped since last November. Right. Word. So Magma dropped in November. Produced by Tone Spliff, he out of Cali, and Culturally Rich dropped in December. produced by Big Ball Patterson. He's from Canada and shit. And me and Tone, we had did a few features already. I know him for years since I was doing when I was doing the Death by Stereo albums and shit like that, going out to Cali. And we had a video and all that shit. And so then matter of fact, he directed a video for me off of the Adamantine album or a song called You Know What Crime It Is. And so I knew Tone for a minute. And so we started collaborating on the album and shit, man. That shit was fucking dope. Yeah, man, that shit was fucking hard, man. I got my man UG on there. We got a crazy joint. All the videos we shot for that shit came out fucking official too. And you know what I mean? Shout out to Tone. And Big Bob, me and him did so many fucking collabs before we worked on this album. He had put out a album, like a 12-inch called not a Best of Ruste Juxx. It was called damn, what the fuck was the name of that shit? I forget the title of the shit, but he put out a whole album full of the collabs that we had. You know what I mean? And so then we started working on the project, man. And when I was out there in Canada, I had a tour over there, and you know, I knocked out joints all, you know, when I was recording here and everything. Then I went out there and performed a lot of them shits. And you know what I mean? Big Bob, me, his wife is man cool and shit, man. And we worked on the project. And that shit came out dope, man. You know, I try to keep good relationships with everybody, you know what I mean, with promoters, producers, radio, you know, execs and shit, you know what I mean, with interviews and shit, man. You know what I mean? Because, you know, businesses or this shit is important.
That's real.
Word.
That's real. You stay very, you know, close and tapped into, you know, what's going on with your people and everybody. You know what I'm saying? I seen one of the guys, I don't know if it was on the fan page or what, and it was like, yo, Ruste Juxx so motherfucking cool, him and his wife, they get right back to you in the comments. I was like, I'm saying a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I saw that shit too. I told my wife too. Word, man. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, man. I try not to be like a lot of people. You know, I remember one time, my son is 22, and he said this to me like 2 years ago or some shit like that. He was like, Dad, why you always talking to the fans? Like you ain't supposed to be that accessible to them and shit. I was like, fuck all that shit. I said, I ain't everybody. I know all these rappers. I say, well, you know what I mean? If they say something disrespectful, I'll block them and get the fuck out of it. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna go back and forth. But I ain't like that. You know what I mean? Like when I perform on stage, soon as I finish, I might go backstage for like 5 minutes and shit. You know, I'll be hot, you know what I mean, toweling off and shit like that. But I come right back out and interact with everybody. I do that shit everywhere. You know what I mean? Overseas. I don't have nobody with me. I'll be dolo. You know what I mean? And anybody that's seen my show, they know I ain't lying. That's how I handle it. That's how I get down. And you know what I mean? I ain't with that dumb shit. Like this is what I wanted to be since I was 12 years old, man. And I ain't afraid of none of that shit. You know what I mean? I speak to the fans. They fucking with me. I come out there and you know what I mean? People be like, yo, they got ciphers going on and shit. I jump in the cipher with them and shit. I remember niggas, they really appreciated that shit. They was like, oh shit. Like, and I had to go too. You know what I mean? I was just like, fuck, let me just spit something real quick, freestyle, bam. And you know what I mean? That shit goes a long way, man. Like, you know what I mean? I got people that, you know, when I go perform places overseas or in the States and, you know, I got places to go if I ain't got no no hotel or shit. Like, motherfuckers put me up like, yo, Russ. Like, like, you know what I mean? That connection, that, you know what I mean? That's why I call them my Juxxaholics, man. Word, man. They fiends for this hip hop, man. And that shit is very important, man. Word.
So how adaptable have you had to been since, you know, March with this whole COVID situation, you know, and moving and doing what you do as an artist?
Second. Yeah, all right. So I heard you. It didn't affect me though, really. Like I've been before the COVID shit hit. You know, only thing that affected was my shows. Like I ain't performed in you know, in a minute since that shit happened. I had a Africa tour lined up. and I was pissed off about that shit. And I'm like, damn, like I always wanted to go to Africa. You know what I mean? I had a Canada tour right after that. But you know, I'm still trying to make the Africa shit happen again. But other than that, man, I'll be you know, I got the studio in my crib. I got my own cameras and shit. I shoot videos and shit. So, you know, I've been making money just the way I've been doing it. You know what I mean? I'm a killer collab king. You know what I mean, with that shit. So I sit here and make my money, and I put out my albums. You know what I mean, working with different producers. I put that shit out and make money off the albums after that. So the shit didn't really affect me, man. And I'm a family man anyway. I'm always here. If I ain't here, I'm out doing, you know what I mean, touring and shit. So, you know, it was good for me to be here with the family anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, with that shit really just got me more focused. You know, because you know, a lot of people, you gotta learn, like, you gotta be self-sufficient, and you gotta have your own shit, like, because you never know what the fuck is gonna happen. Then, you know what I mean, you can't make moves because you ain't used to it. You know what I mean? I've been doing this already. So, you know what I mean? I've been in the crib just working and shit. Like, my kids, they really don't see, you know, my younger kids. My oldest son, he really know because he been touring with me, different shit like that, holding me down on stage. But, you know, they mostly know me from being in the house. You know what I mean? And just, you know, I'm paying the bills, but I'm here. Like, they don't see me out working all day and all that shit. So I know it's different for them. But, you know what I mean? It shit ain't really affect me, man.
That's good. That's a good thing, you know. I'm talking to you, you know what I'm saying? So for me, this whole time, it's been like the most accessible, most eventful, crazy joint, you know what I'm saying, for me, because, you know, of the slowdown. People got time to talk to you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Otherwise, cats be gone 4 sheets to the wind out here, you know what I'm saying? I start getting it going, wherever they got to go. So they definitely got it, you know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. I would have definitely did this shit anyway, because as soon as I seen you was a black man hit me up for an interview, I was like, all right, I'm with it. As soon as I seen that shit and you had the black fist on your shit, I was like, now let's go to law. I was like, definitely, man. You already know.
That's what's up. I see Iron Sheik right there, one of the greatest producers. You know what I'm saying? My brother Get You Ding came through here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I seen my brother Planet Law. I seen my brother Law on here too.
Yeah, it's going down. It's going down. So what's next that you can share with us that you got coming up? You know what I mean?
Well, I'm still promoting the James Brown of the Underground. We're gonna shoot a few more videos for that. And the next joint we getting ready to shoot is a joint called Rap for Real. And pardon me, on that song I'm paying homage to all the artists that I grew up listening to. Like, not all of them, but a lot of them. You know what I mean? And that influenced me and shit. And you know, like every bar is, you know what I mean? I'm paying homage to everybody. So that's gonna be an ill video, you know what I mean? A totally different concept. And you know, after this album, I'm dropping an album with my man Detonate. He's a dope artist from out of the from London and shit. He's a black artist from over there. And me and him put together like 28 songs. And so we're gonna drop like 12 of them shits though, you know what I mean? And then, you know, we might do something else with the other joints later, but definitely, man. I'm working and shit. I got a few albums done. So I'm just waiting on the producer, you know, and their team and their labels and shit, seeing when we gonna drop it.
See, I wouldn't expect nothing less, you know what I'm saying? From true to the name, you understand what I'm saying? Underground King, man. Underground James Brown, man.
Shit just dropping any given day. I just dropped a video today, man. Word, man. Salute to my man Raz One. He a producer out in Poland and shit. I dropped a video today called Boom Bap Style, featuring my brother Skankster Rap Martyr. You know what I mean? So everybody look out for that joint. You know what I mean? Go to YouTube, check it out.
I just seen that right before I hopped on with you.
Hell yeah. And that's yo, enough respect when my son, my middle son and shit, man, Boogie, man, my son Giovanni, he shot the video for that. He shoot a lot of my videos, man. He's my young director right there. Word.
That's love right there. Keeping it in the family. you know, every way
Yeah.
that we can. So on this note, we got Black God Empowerment Month. Last month was Black Goddess Empowerment Month. We could kind of put two together. What's the message you got for the young kings and young queens out there? You know, share with them something that you learned along the way and something you wish somebody would have, you know, told you on the way coming up.
Yo, definitely love what you're doing, you know what I mean? And be yourself, man. You know what I mean? Be authentic, be original. You know what I mean? Because everybody loves something new and original, something, you know what I mean, brand new and fresh. You know what I mean? Don't ride the bandwagon. Don't do songs just because, you know, the shit is whatever's rocking right now. Because, you know what I mean, what you want to do will be the new shit that's rocking. You know what I mean? Create your own trends. You know what I mean? And definitely invest in yourself. I would tell everybody that. You know what I mean? Invest in yourself. Don't wait for nobody. Don't be sitting around like, yo, such and such don't want to rock with me, or, you know what I mean, they don't want to rock. You make your own movement, and trust me, everybody gonna follow, and you know what I mean, they're gonna follow it. They're gonna follow your shit and want to jump on your shit. You know what I mean? Definitely.
So as we wrap it up, final thoughts, acknowledgement, shout out where people can get them features from, you know what I'm saying? How they can get a hold of you for them features, you know what I'm saying? People listening, they're gonna want them feature, you know what I'm saying? Definitely. Social media and everything. Yo,
hit me up on Twitter, Ruste Juxx 357. On Facebook is Ruste Juxx. And on Instagram, Rusty_Juxx. And or just email me, you know what I mean? Just email me, hardbodyhip, JRDBODI at G. Word. We could work it out, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming through, making this work. You know what I mean? And, you know, definitely, you can hit me whenever. You know what I'm saying? So, you want to come back, whatever. It's home for you. It's another spot. You know what I'm saying? You can come through. You know,
ready, man. Thanks for having me, man. Word.
All right. Peace.
All right. Salute. Peace.